Hi friends, this is Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. Today you can see we're going to be using some of these really fun Christmas sets and supplies, but let me assure you they're not going to look like Christmas when we're done. You see, my friend Brennan reached out and asked if I would be interested in doing a Christmas in July collab with him, to which I immediately said, absolutely not. I do not like Christmas in July, but if it's Halloween, you let me know. And so he said, okay, well, what if you have to use Christmas supplies, but you can make a Halloween card? And I said, now that is a challenge I can get behind. So we're going to be making a Halloween with Christmas in July card. And I love how this one turned out. So you can see I'm starting off by ink blending my background. I'm going in with some very dark orange, I think the persimmon, and then some carved pumpkin in the middle. And I'm taking a candy cane stencil from Pink and Maine. It's candy cane, that means it's Christmas. And some black soot and distress inks. And I am going to go over my kind of vignette background with the black, and I'm going to keep that vignette kind of feeling going by adding way more ink to the outer edges of my stripes, and then just kind of sliding whatever ink is left over on my sponge across the orange through the center. So that's going to keep all of that darkest shading on the outside and let everything be a little lighter in the middle. Then I'm going to rotate my stencil sideways, and we're going to do the same thing going in the other direction. So we're basically making our own Halloween plaid, but with a candy cane stripe stencil. Check, one thing done, right? But I do think that this is a fun trick to use if you have a plaid stencil or a candy stripe stencil. To make whatever kind of plaid for whatever season you want. Just changing up the colors completely changes the feel of it. To make it a little more spooky Halloween grunge, I did that's not what I did. I did tap on, that's what I did. I tapped on some extra watered down black ink in little tiny dots and let that dry. Now I'm going in with one of the candles from the Tim Holtz and Sizzix candle dies. Those technically came out with the Christmas release. Okay, technically they are Christmas. And as well as a Sizzix die that's called Festive Foliage. And I'll have those linked down in the description as well. But they're so stinking cute. And who says that, you know, because it's red, a red poinsettia, I never know how to say those. In the picture, you can cut a flower to be any color you want. So I die cut all of my main pieces here out of solid cardstock, and I'm going in with different distress inks. So for the purples, I had a lighter and a darker purple cardstock, and I grabbed all of my cardstock came from my scrap bin. But I went in with, oh goodness, what's the darkest? There's a new dark purple. Again, I'll put it in the description. And then black soot on the darker purple. And I added the little star element from that die set too as the center. Instead of the like floor, I thought it gave it a little bit of a Halloween spooky witchy kind of look. I'm going in with some hickory smoke for my over top of this gray cardstock for my candle holder, and a little bit of black soot on that as well. And then I'm going to layer them up. The Sizzix dies are so easy to use because they're numbered and lettered, right? So like each candle, it'll say like candle A1, candle A2, candle A3. So you know exactly what you need to pull for just whatever you're making. So it's very simple just to sort those into groups and then know I had my candle and my candlestick holder and then just put everything else back in the bag. I love that they do it that way. For my candle, I decided I wanted to try to go with like a black flame candle from Hocus Pocus kind of feeling. So I went with a cream cardstock, and I'm adding in some pumice stone ink. So just again, grunging it up a little bit. And I wanted to make sure that the layers that were going to be on the bottom were just a little darker, had a little more shadow to them. And I'm just building those up. They have little embossed lines to help you layer up and like line up all of the layers. And I really like that too. I think it's very easy to use. And yeah, this card just makes me happy. I'm so ready for Halloween card making and Halloween projects. I am planning on doing a Halloween series again this year with at least 13 projects, and I'm hoping to have an extra special like Halloween thing to tell you guys about soon. But I have a lot of work that I need to get done to have it ready for you guys. So if you love Halloween too, keep an eye out for that, or coloring. If you love coloring, keep an eye out for that. And for my flames, there's 2 little flame pieces that layer up, and there's technically 4. There's 2 different flames you can make. So I use yellow cardstock, but I added some black to the bottom of the flame, again, because I'm going for that black flame candle feeling. But you could have this be super bright or add orange to the bottom and have it be more of a normal colored flame. I trimmed my candle down so that it would fit within my kind of plaid layout. I had trimmed that panel down so it's 3 3/4 by 5. So if you're using a full A2 size panel, I'm pretty sure that candle fits no problem. But because I had trimmed it down, I wanted to make sure that it was going to fit on my smaller panel. For these berries, I cut 2 layers, one from orange and one from black, and then I trimmed off all of the little orange berries with scissors, just freehand cut them off, and then added that on top of the black layer so it looks like the stick or stem. And then for my greenery, I just went in with crushed olive, I believe. Maybe a little hint of forest moss, but mostly crushed olive. And I grabbed some Halloween paper. This is the one thing I will admit that is not Christmas. I grabbed some Halloween paper from Waffle Flower. It's their Spooktacular paper pad, and it's so cute. It was just too perfect. I did everything else by the book, Brennan, okay? So you have to give me one Halloween thing. And I still wanted this to be very cutesy Halloween. So I went in with a white paint Sharpie, water base, and added my highlights with that so they would be really bold. And I went crazy with the highlights, and I love how it turned out. I think it, again, just makes everything a little more cute and silly versus trying to be super spooky. And that's the kind of Halloween I usually prefer anyway. I know that's the most popular kind of in the card making world, but I just think it's so fun. It keeps it fun. So even on these little leaves, I'm adding those highlights. I'm going to add them to the berries. And because I'm using that paint pen, that white paint pen or white Sharpie, it really pops even stronger than a white gel pen. And my gel pens, I think I need new ones. They're like running low or something. I've had them for a while. Now, my letters I grabbed from another Christmas set. This is from the, what are you called? It's the one with Santa. I'll put it in the description. That's like the theme of today. I'll put it in the description. But it's Santa holding a banner. And you can put whatever word you want, and it comes with all the letter dies. So technically these are Christmas letters. And so I cut the letters to write amok, which is also from Hocus Pocus. Sarah Sanderson does a little amok thing. And I cut 2 layers of each letter, one from that light purple that I used on my flowers and one from black cardstock. And I am gluing them down with just a little bit of an angle to them so that you see a hint of that purple on the lower and left side of the letters. And I think it pops so nicely against that background. The other thing I will tell you, I picked my colors specifically to read as Halloween, even though the items aren't specifically Halloween. If you are trying to kind of lovingly push something, a product, into a Halloween kind of space, you cannot go wrong by using the green, orange, purple Halloween color scheme, right? It's a tertiary. There are 3 colors that are like make a triangle across the color wheel. They automatically give a ton of pop to whatever you're working on because of that. But they just scream Halloween. If someone, especially in like traditional America Halloween, if you see those 3 colors together and even the hint of anything silly or spooky, instant, your brain will tell you it's Halloween. So that's a good thing to keep in mind if you are trying to get the most out of your products and maybe utilize some other items in your stash for Halloween if you don't want to have a dedicated Halloween supply list. Obviously, that's not me. I need so much Halloween that even my Christmas stuff is Halloween. But I glued everything down with liquid glue, and then I popped my candlestick right on top. I had just been kind of holding it in place through everything else so that I knew I would have the right spacing. My letters did not want to fit kind of straight in a straight line. So I thought it would be fun and a little like silly, whimsical if they kind of wobbled up and down anyway. So I added those with liquid glue, and then because the highlights were so cute on everything else, I did go in with a white gel pen, a really thin one, I think the 5, and added some highlights just to my letters. But this card makes me so happy. Brennan, I hope you're happy, and everyone who's watching, please go check out Brennan's card to see what kind of mischief he got into. But thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, happy crafting.